Hey guys, Hone Houdini Ty here, helping you escape your 9 to 5. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the better debt snowball. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, there's a concept out there called the debt snowball, and that's where you take your money and you funnel it into one credit card payment and one piece of debt, right? So let's say you have 3 different pieces of debt here. You got your student loans, your car loans, your credit card. Right, so what you do is you pay the minimum on 2 of them, and then you focus the rest of your income towards paying off the highest interest one, let's say, right? So let's say the student loan has the highest interest. You would put most of your money towards paying down your student loans, and you pay the minimum on the car and the credit card. Instead of doing that, though, I have a better way. But the premise is, eventually, you'll pay off the student loan, and then you move on to the next piece of debt that has the next highest interest rate. So that's the debt snowball. I am so about that. That's cool, great. Pay off your debt. That's how do I say this? Middle class, right? That's the middle class way of doing it. Let me actually get my headset. So I want to get my headset so that the sound follows me, so that when I turn towards the board and I do it, yeah. All right, so can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Hit the thumbs up, like smash it a lot if you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully this mic, so that when I'm turning towards the board and talking, you guys can still hear me loud and clear. So let me know. Smash the like if you guys, okay, awesome. Thank you, Sean. Okay, thank you, everybody. All right, so debt snowball. This is how you're going to be paying off your debt even better. For a lot of people, that's the #1 complaint. Oh, and I can't invest in real estate. I have all this debt and all that. I hate those excuses, right? And I know it's not excuses. I know people are legitimately feeling like debt is killing them. And it is. For a lot of people, debt is killing them. I actually just spoke to a girl who said that her student loans have been deferred, right? Her student loans have been deferred, and in 6 months, they're going to kick in. So she just got her master's degree, and in 6 months, her student loans are going to kick in, and when they kick in, she will no longer be able to afford her life with her salary as is. How crazy is that, right? And she's not working at McDonald's. She is like in banking, and she has a good job, but the master's degree cost her a lot of money, so it's going to be delayed, right? It's going to be delayed, but in 6 months, the chickens are going to come home to roost, as they say. They're going to be like, okay, time to pay us. And when that monthly payment hits, she will not be able to afford her life, and that is nuts, right? So let's say this is your example, right? Here it is. So student loans, $500, car, $400, credit cards, $300. This is my better version of debt snowball. What people do today is, with their paycheck, let's say it's $4,000 a month, paycheck goes into the bank account, and then from the bank account, you divide it up, and usually for most people, it's minimum, and that's it, right? So then these things go on forever and ever and ever, and then here is maybe where they have some savings, okay? So this is your savings bucket. So the money goes in, and then it goes into the savings bucket. And people are so focused on just paying off debt that they can't focus on anything else. They just think that because of all the debt that's consuming them, right here, what do we have? $1,200. $1,200 in debt with a $4,000 paycheck. This doesn't include housing, this doesn't include food, this doesn't include a lot of different things. So I can understand why people feel like they're drowning. They're just working to pay their bills, and these bills never end, because eventually, if you have a lease, that's never going to end. And if you buy your car may break down, or it's going to need repairs or whatever. So your car is always going to have a cost to it, and then your credit cards, you're going to be buying gas, you're going to be buying food, you're going to be doing all that kind of stuff with credit cards, so that's never going to end. And your student loans are just so expensive that seems like it never ends either. So this is what people are currently dealing with. I want to show you guys a better way of doing it. This thing I'm calling the better debt snowball. Instead of funneling all of your cash that you make, my suggestion is to purchase an asset. And now I tell people all the time to buy real estate, and people always, the first thing they say is, I'm gonna pay off my debt first and then I'm gonna buy a property. Oh, that's so dumb. Like to me, that's so dumb. Because you're forgetting what you're actually investing in. You're forgetting what the thing actually is. So instead of waiting to pay all of these off, why don't you actually listen first before having the opinion, right? And learn how to buy the property first, right? And yes, maybe you'll take on more debt, but there's good debt and bad debt, and that's where you have to elevate your financial intelligence to understand that. If you just think debt is bad, then your financial intelligence is low. But if you start to listen first before you formulate your opinion, then you'll understand that there's good debt that you can take on that will help you combat the bad debt. So here, you're gonna take on some debt over here, right? And you're gonna buy this property. And if you do the numbers correctly, you're gonna learn how to analyze your deal so that it cash flows. And then what do you do with the cash flow? Well, I'm gonna nickname this property credit card, right? So I'm gonna nickname this thing credit card because I know that the cash flow coming out of this property is gonna be $300 a month. So I'm gonna use that money and then I'm gonna pay that one. So what does that mean? That this here, I don't have to do, right? So right now, from my bank account, the money from my paycheck goes into my bank account, but now it doesn't go from my bank account into my credit card payment. It comes from the property. And the property I obtain by getting good debt. And what is good debt? Good debt is money that you borrow that makes you more money. But you see how I borrowed money to buy this property that I nicknamed credit card, and now it pumps out an extra $300 a month to pay for the credit card, right? So that's why I don't like the debt snowball. This is the better debt snowball. Okay, so right now I got this property and it's paying off that one. So what do I do next? Well, obviously, it's buy more properties, right? The name of the game is to acquire assets. And what is an asset? It's something that puts money into your pocket, okay? An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. These things here are your liabilities, but this thing over here is your asset because it puts money into your pocket. So then, I'm gonna do the same thing both times. So maybe this, right? This one's a bigger building, and this one's an even bigger building. It's got multiple doors. It's all good, right? So whatever. So that one pays that one, and that one pays that one. So now, if you take a look at it, I learned how to acquire good debt to buy these properties that pay off my liabilities. And then, if I can figure out how to buy even more properties that can pay for all of the other things that I spend my money on, right? Like housing, like food, like whatever, right? All of a sudden, this paycheck, 100% of it can go into savings. So the key is to acquire more assets. And again, don't be those people who tell me, oh, I'm gonna buy properties after I pay off all of my debt. Why would you wait? Oh, I know why. Because you feel like you already know how to invest in real estate, so you think you don't need to learn anymore, and because you don't learn anymore, you don't understand the concepts of how to take on good debt and enough good debt to get the properties without any money out of your pocket. So if I could show you how to buy properties with no money out of your pocket, and then you can buy all of these properties that pay for your life, all of a sudden you're free. But in order to be free, in order to be able to execute on all of what I just said, that requires you to have an open mind and the willingness to listen first prior to making an assumption that you can't do it because you have debt. That is an assumption that you have, and it's a bad assumption. And you know why it's a bad assumption? Because it's keeping you from acquiring the assets that are paying your liabilities. You guys get that, right? You got these assets that can pay your liabilities, or You become the asset 100%, where your paycheck goes into your bank account and then you pay your debt. I don't like that one, because that requires everything to come from me. Instead of everything having to come from me, I like to leverage. And by leverage, I mean buy more properties. Now, there's another form of leverage, and that is leveraging other people's energy, motivation, knowledge, and things like that. So you guys could leverage me and leverage my belief system so that you guys can do this. Right now, a lot of people watching this, they don't have the same belief system. They don't believe that they can actually buy properties without money. No matter how many times I say it, you don't need your own money to buy these properties. You don't need your own money to buy these properties. I'm not saying necessarily that it's easy. I'm not saying that they're going to be plentiful, but I'm saying that you can buy properties without your money if you know what you're doing. So because I have that belief system, you can leverage me, and then until it becomes your belief system, you can continue to just say what I'm saying until it becomes real to you. That's the thing. A lot of people just don't believe it, and because they don't believe it, they never get it. They never achieve it. So learning how to acquire properties using good debt in the proper way, analyzing it the right way, having cash flow that can pay off your debt, that's the better debt snowball. Because again, if you're not acquiring assets to pay for your liabilities, you are the asset, right? Because all of the money is going to come from you. And you don't want that, because at some point you're going to not want to work anymore. Now, you may do something for work, but you don't want it to be where you have to make X amount of dollars from your job in order to support your life. You want it to be where you have assets that support your life, right? You have the assets that support your life, and whatever you make from your job, whether it's a little bit or a lot, it's just for fun. It's just play money. But again, these concepts, they don't ring true for people. People think it's crazy, right? They don't think that this is all possible, but it totally is. So you have to leverage my belief. You have to leverage my motivation. You have to leverage the knowledge of how to do this. Again, you could just regurgitate all of the same things that I'm saying until the point where you actually believe it. And here's the thing. It doesn't really matter whether you believe it or not. If you take the actions that I teach and how to buy the properties, if you literally just take the action, you cannot feel like it at all. You cannot believe it's true. You can do all of it. It doesn't matter. If you take the action, the result will happen, right? If you take the action, the result will happen. Look, I can not want to take the cap off of the marker. Now, my body, if I tell it to pull the cap off, the cap will come off. It doesn't matter whether or not I want it to. It matters what I did. It's a big difference. Most people wait until all the lights are green before they take off. But, life doesn't work that way. If you're trying to take a road trip, even a short trip from here to work, wherever you work, you're going to hit a couple red lights. It won't all be green for you. Same thing with life. You're never going to feel like you want to do it all of the time. But if you take the actions, regardless of how you feel, you get the result that you want. And then you're going to feel like it, right? So again, when I teach you guys how to buy these properties that pay your student loans, your car loans, your credit card loans, right? When I show you guys how to buy the assets, even if you're scared, even if you don't feel like it, oh, I'm not motivated today. Oh, it's January, I don't feel like it. Oh, it's Monday, I don't feel like it. Oh, blah, 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 I don't feel like it. Even if you don't feel like it, but you take the actions, you can get the results, right? You can get the results. So your job is to, one, figure out how do you acquire the good debt to buy the assets to pay the liabilities, right? If anybody has any questions, this is a live thing. This is not pre-recorded. I am not scripted. I am just talking from the heart and from the gut, right? I'm here teaching you guys. A lot of people complain, Oh, how come you don't teach for free? What the heck is this? People want the information for free, and then I give it to them for free, and then I wait. And I still get nothing, right? So then it's funny. It's like I can charge and people will complain. I can give it for free and then nothing happens. You know, I can't win, right? So I continue to charge. And for those who are waiting, for whatever reason you're waiting, it's like, yeah, there's a price tag. But do you go to work for free? I doubt it. There's a cost to everything. You wouldn't go to work for free. Why do you expect me to go to work for free? But here you are. You want free? Here it is. Ask away, right? Ask, what's the big deal? Like, it's super simple, isn't it? Acquire the assets that pay for your liabilities. Don't do it the other way. Don't wait until you pay all these off first from working and getting your paycheck. Get your paycheck, put it in a bank, pay these off, and then invest in real estate. That's the slow way. That's the average way. That's the middle class way. That's the poor way. You don't want to do it that way because that's idiotic thinking. That is the strategy from someone who has low financial intelligence. Somebody with higher financial intelligence will realize that the smarter way of paying off debt is by acquiring more assets that can pay off the debt for you so that you are not paying for it. Right? The debt snowball, I must have heard about this dang debt snowball so many times as if it was the greatest invention in the world. It's not the greatest invention in the world. It's just a way for you to pay your debt from your paycheck. That's not smart. That's you working like a dog to pay off your debt. Like, oh, wow, amazing. Like, it's so silly, right? Do you see the animation right here, how it's so silly, and people are, oh my God, that's so great. No, that's so basic. The so great thing is to acquire the assets that pay for the liabilities, right? So Lenny, he says, it's excuses. It's not how you're releasing the content. It's definitely not how I'm releasing the content because I do written form content, I do Facebook Live content, I do YouTube content, I have paid content, we have live meeting content, I meet people one-on-one at a coffee shop content. I have all that content. And no matter what kind of content I deliver, somebody has some kind of complaint. Somebody has some kind of complaint. Or they have some kind of excuse. It's either excuse or complaint or both. And then I bet you they're going to blame the government and the president and the economy and their family and their job. And they're going to blame every single person other than themselves for why they're in the situation that they're in where they can't afford to pay their student loans, their car, and their credit card off because they don't make enough at their job. Oh, it's their job's fault. Okay, fine. If it's the job's fault, then the job can lay you off. Great. You think it's our fault? Then we're going to let you go. Figure it out without us then. How would you feel then, right? All of a sudden, oh, no. It's not your fault. I take it all back. I'm not going to complain anymore, right? Mr. Tough Guy or Tough Girl all of a sudden changes their tune. So, that snowball, not like a eureka. It is so basic. The cool part is to raise your financial intelligence to the point where you can buy assets with no money out of your pocket. That's the cool part, right? That's the really cool part. Now, let me see. On the call, Antonio just hopped on. Antonio does this cool thing. He uses life insurance. He puts money into a life insurance policy. It has a cash value. The cash value is X amount. Then you borrow against the policy, right? You borrow against the cash value, and then you go buy a property with that, and then the property creates cash flow that pays back the loan that you took against the cash value. See, that is financial intelligence to another level. There are so many levels to this. If you're paying off your debt with your own work efforts, then you have a lot of growing to do. It's okay if you're just getting started. What's not okay is to say that it's not possible, it's a scam, it's this, it's that, to blame everybody, that's not okay. If you're just starting out and you're like, "Hone, I like it. I want to increase my financial intelligence. I want to be able to pay off my debt using my assets here and not me being the asset. I want to learn how to acquire assets to pay off the debt." That is smart. I like that. When I hear people say, "Nope, Hone, I'm going to pay off my debt first and then I'm going to buy all this real estate," I bet you won't, right? I bet you won't. So let's see, Lenny. They have a different reality. Their reality isn't expanding enough to receive the message. Whew, that's good. Antonio, there's levels to this. Isn't that a song? I don't know. I don't listen to much music. But yeah, let's see. Michael DeLuca, "Hone, I appreciate the info. I'm just getting started and want to link up." Great. See? Financial intelligence. Getting with people because you actually believe that there's something to learn. That's fantastic. He's like, "I'm just starting, but I love the information. How can I make this grow? How can I level up? How can I change my reality? How can I expand my reality to the point where I can receive the message," like Lenny says. Lenny is newer to the group, one of the newer members, but he's putting so much time and effort into it. And I can actually see his growth and his evolution so far from being in the group. I can see how he's not talking like me, but when I talk, he catches things that I think other people would miss, right? I recently we have a group, private Facebook group for our real estate students, right? And in the group, he did his homework, he watched his videos, he learned his stuff, right? And then he commented on this other girl's post who said, "Hey, what are the 8 misconceptions, right? What are the 8 misconceptions of real estate or something, of wealth building or something?" And he wrote them all. And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome for both of them," right? And I said, "If anybody deserves to be rich, it's you two," right? And he picked up on that. He said, "Dang, it's unfortunate though. Those who deserve to be rich aren't necessarily the ones who get it, because in life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate." And I didn't even say that in the comments, but he already knew it. So he was like, "Dang, it's cool. I'm happy that you said I deserve to be rich, but I know that just because I deserve it doesn't mean I necessarily get it. You don't get what you deserve in life. You get what you negotiate." So he picked that up without even me having to say it. So it's not that he speaks like me, but he can hear things that maybe he couldn't hear before. So he changed his reality. He expanded his reality by being a part of the group and having the conversations on a weekly and daily basis, to the point where real estate investing becomes his new language. It's a language that you must learn. I am speaking at a very low level, right? This is me speaking at like a first grader, second grader level in terms of real estate investing. When we start talking about other things much higher level, that's us going up, high school and college. The problem is a lot of people don't realize that there are different levels to it. There are different grades. They understand it conceptually about high school and college and everything else. They understand it like that, but they don't realize that whole scale applies to everything. Totally, right? Even driving a car. You may have driven a car for the last 20 years, but if I put you on a racetrack and you're driving against other people who have been racing their whole life in Formula One or NASCAR or something like that, you would lose, and you would lose badly, right? You would lose badly, because even though you've had 20 years of driving, you haven't elevated your driving. You've just been doing the same kind of driving for 20 years. Same thing with your finances. You've just been working for 20 years, putting the money into your bank account and then paying off your debt. You haven't improved financially. You haven't leveled up. You have to intentionally level up. You have to go out there and seek it out. You have to put yourself in situations that will raise your consciousness. All right, let's see what else people are saying. So we got Jermaine. Good stuff, Hone. Thank you, Jermaine. Appreciate you. I've known Jermaine since the 5th grade. Can you guys believe that? And now Jermaine is in the class with me. It's awesome. 5th grade is 10 years old. So Jermaine, you and I have known each other since we were 10. Kyle, wealth maximization accounts through mutual life insurance policies is how the rich do it. We all should too. See that sentence? You see how much financial intelligence was packed into those, was that 2 sentences? Wealth maximization accounts through mutual life insurance policies is how the rich do it. That sentence once. The sentence 1. We all should too. That's sentence 2. There's a lot of financial intelligence just packed all in those 2 sentences right there. But a lot of people don't understand it, right? A lot of people don't understand it, right? Let's see. Mike Russ, you get what you expect. Hey, I would agree to that, right? You definitely get what you expect, right? That's why I call a lot of what I do an adventure and a journey, because when you go on an adventure, you don't know what to expect. There's all kinds of stuff that's going to happen throughout your adventure, throughout your journey. But if you're smart, if you have good planning, if you have a good guide, if you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of resources, right? That journey, that adventure can be more fun than treacherous. You guys get that? So real estate investing is an adventure. It could be fun or treacherous, but it depends on you as the explorer, right? You being the explorer will dictate whether it's going to be fun or treacherous. If you don't know what you're doing, it could be really treacherous. You could lose a lot of money. You could lose a lot of sleep. You could be stressed out. It could be a terrible experience. But if you know what you're doing and you have a lot of resources to back you up, and I don't just mean money in your pocket. There's all kinds of resources you need. But if you have all those resources and you have the knowledge and you have the roadmap and all of that kind of stuff, all of a sudden acquiring assets becomes really, really fun, right? You just buy them and buy them and buy them and buy them. It's nuts. It's nuts. Peter, thanks for the insight, Hone. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, brother, because tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we have a real estate meeting, and people get so excited to come to these meetings every single Saturday because, like Tony Robbins says, happiness comes from progress. Most people are depressed because they have no progress going on. What do? They wake up on Monday, they go to work, they come home, they eat dinner, they go to bed, they wake up Tuesday, they go to work, they come home, they eat dinner, they go to bed, and they do that 5 days a week, and then they get drunk Saturday and Sunday, then they wake up and it's Monday again. There's no progress there. That's just getting through life, right? That's just getting through life. But if you come to our meetings on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock, you start learning new things, right? You start learning about the better debt snowball. You learn about how to acquire properties without your own money, right? You learn about good debt. You learn about all of these different concepts that we're talking about, and all of a sudden your financial intelligence just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. And you go, man, I am a different person. I feel better. I am educated, and I feel like I am in command of my life and of my finances and of my future and my family, and I got this. I can take care of this, and the knowledge that I have allows me to obtain more assets and take advantage of more opportunities. That's what coming to the Tuesday meetings do for people. That's why I still go, right? When you are ripe, you start to rot. When you're green, you're growing. When you're ripe, you're rotting. That's another Tony Robbins thing, right? If you think you're done, oh, I'm good with my life. Things aren't so bad, and I can pay for my bills, and and you're just like, here. It just sounds like you're done, right? So that means you're ripe. As soon as you ripe, you rot, right? When you're green, let me see, am I going in the right direction? Maybe it's this way. right? So when you're green, you're on this growth path, right? And as long as you're growing and you haven't hit your right point, you're going to continue to stay green and healthy. But as soon as you're done and you hit that ripe point, that's when you start to rot. When I talk to people and they just sound so like not even content, they're just like, what's the word? It's kind of like hopeless, they're just kind of stale. Nah, hon, I don't need to learn about financial intelligence. I don't need to learn about your better debt snowball. I have this regular job that doesn't excite me. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's okay. I just go for it. I go every day from 9 to 5, and I leave my work at home, so I never bring it home. But, from 9 to 5, it's not bad. I just click, and then before you know it, my day's over and all that kind of stuff. What you don't realize, that 9 to 5, that's most of your life, right? Because you're sleeping, and then that 9 to 5 plus commute, that's most of your life. This it's not so bad. Dude, that's most of your life. Let me say it one more time. That is most of your life, which is where you're spending most of your life in an environment that is just okay. It's just okay. I'm comfortable. That's the word, right? Comfortable. I'm good. I'm comfortable. This is fine. That sounds like you're giving up. That's so hopeless. And it's those people, right? It's those people who are, I'm comfortable. I have just enough to get by and all that kind of stuff. And then the economy changes and their company has to do a massive layoff, and then they get laid off because they're not enthusiastic. They're not progressing with their life. They're not progressing at their job. They're not adding more value to anything. They're just at status quo. Is that it? At par. They're just at that basic level, right? And then their job looks at them like, we can replace them. They're not special. Why do we keep them? We have to keep this person and that person. This person here, they're constantly growing and trying to figure out how to add more value to the company, and they're doing more than they're asked and all that kind of stuff, versus this person who's just kind of like, meh, I leave at 5 o'clock, I leave all the work at home, I don't care. Well, when it comes time to chop some people, guess who they're letting go? So then they get let go. And all of a sudden, they're no longer comfortable. Why are they no longer comfortable? Because they no longer have the income. Oh, but I'll get unemployment. You know unemployment's only 50%, right? Imagine getting a 50% haircut on whatever you're making now. You're all of a sudden not going to be so comfortable, will you? Right? So now you have 50% of the income coming in, and you still have the same debt over here. What are you going to do, right? You're going to suffer, and you're going to hate it. So that's why it's important to progress now while things are good. When is the best time to borrow money? When you don't need it, right? When's the best time to look for a job? When you don't need it. When's the best time to do anything? When you don't need to. Because by the time you need to, it's going to be too late, because now you're scrambling and you look desperate, right? You look desperate, and people don't want to deal with people who are desperate. There's a saying, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready, right? Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. And if you do that, then you don't scramble. Haste makes waste. People do things hastily, right? They do things rushing when they need to. By then it's too late. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do things in the wrong order. So those who are comfortable, those are the ones who are going to get killed when things change. People expect life to remain constant. And when things change, that's when they get all messed up. It's like, were you expecting life to not change? Have you not been living in this world that we live in? Have you not noticed all of the changes that occur in life? Like, hello? We got cell phones now. We have machines doing the self-checkout. We have all of these kind of things that are disrupting different things. Have you been living under a rock? Things will change for you. It doesn't matter how comfortable you are and how much you like it the way it is. If it changes, you're going to be forced forced to be different, right? So that's why I like having these skills. So with real estate, right? Real estate is the way it is today, and I am taking advantage of the way it is today. But here's the thing, if it changes, if real estate as we know it changes, then I will know how to change with it, right? No big deal. I can change with it because I have the skills. I have the skills and I have the resource. I have the wisdom, I have the experience, the network. I have all of these different things that are needed to be successful in any kind of business. It's ironic. I have my whole website and company, which is I escaped my 9 to 5, right? You guys are all very well aware. I escaped my 9to5.com. So that's my company, that's my brand, that's the business that I built. Because I've escaped my 9 to 5, and I've built business after business after business, and I've helped other people become successful business owners, and I learned how to deliver value to people. Because I learned how to do that through this entrepreneurial journey that I've been on, I am so much more employable than most of you because I have so many skills that I can offer to a company that would be very valuable. They would love to pay me for it, right? They would love to pay me for it. I am so much more employable. I have so many more skills than most people out there because I've built businesses. And where do employees work at? At a business. Employees work at a business. They do their little job and they get paid for the hour. I've built businesses, meaning I know how all of the parts work. So if I get hired by a company, I know how to improve multiple departments, and I know how multiple departments play with each other, and I know how to optimize those things. Think about that value proposition that I get to bring to a company if they ever hired me. The irony of it all. I escaped my 9 to 5, and now I'm more employable than you are, those who are just staying at their 9 to 5. I got hired by a bank, right? I got hired by a bank to help them do more loans. I didn't apply for the job, and I never submitted a resume, and I didn't have an interview. They just knew the value that I brought to the table, and so they gave me a position. They made it up. They made up a job for me. I didn't apply. The position didn't exist. I didn't submit a resume. I didn't have an interview, and I got the job. Isn't that crazy, right? So the irony. So if you want to be more comfortable in life, wouldn't more comfortable mean to have assets that you learned how to acquire without your money by using good debt? You use these assets to pay off your loans, right? Your liability. This is my better debt snowball. And then having 100% of your paycheck go into your bank account, which then goes to savings. And then you have this giant savings account that will give you all the cushion in the world no matter what happens. If you got let go from your job, maybe your savings is large enough to pay for your life for the next 10 years. So you could go on a vacation for 10 years and never work a day in your life again, and also never miss a payment over here. That's the safe route. People talk about business is risky. You know what's risky? Being paycheck to paycheck. Living paycheck to paycheck, where if any hiccup happened in your life, that would ruin you financially. So some people are so paycheck to paycheck that if they got into a car accident, they would go completely broke. They are living on a shoestring budget. If anything happens, which this is called life. You know, maybe for some of you it's your first time, but you don't realize that life happens. And life happens to all of us, right? So wouldn't it be safer to have it where you have all of these streams of income so that you can pay off your debts, you can pay off all your expenses, you can pay off your cost of living, right? And then you can have a massive savings account. Because right now, if you're paycheck to paycheck, that means you have no savings. And if you have no savings, if you don't have a reserve, that I think is risky. So that's why when people tell me what I'm doing is risky, I'm looking them right back in their face and I'm saying that what they're doing is risky. But they don't understand it because their financial intelligence isn't high enough, and because it's not high enough, their reality hasn't expanded to the point where they can absorb the things that I'm saying to them. It's like we're speaking two different languages because we are, and that's what I was saying earlier, that this is a new language. And you have to get around people that are speaking at a higher level so that they can bring you up with them. If you and all your buddies all speak at the same level, nobody's bringing up anybody else because you can't. You don't know what's at the next level because you've never spoken to anybody at that next level. You haven't learned any new words, right? You got to learn the new words in order to get to the next level. They don't say the same words in 3rd grade as they do in 8th grade. Different words, different homework assignments, different topics, right? So that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to get unrisky, and I want you to increase your financial intelligence. I want you to start acquiring assets and then building a bigger reserve and not waiting to pay off all your debt first before you get started, because that is what a 1st grader in this grand scheme of it, right? That's what a 1st grader would do. I don't want you playing at 1st grade anymore. That's not what we were put on this earth for. We are supposed to grow. We are supposed to elevate. Happiness comes from progress. Like I was saying earlier, most people are depressed because they are no longer growing. They are no longer progressing in their life. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. That's why we have a lot of depression. That's why we also have a midlife crisis. What's a midlife crisis? Somebody worked at their job for 20 years. They're in their 40s now. And they just feel like everything's the same every single day. Nothing has changed. Nothing's improving. Nothing's better. It's just another day in the rat race, right? They just think it's another day in the rat race. So what do? They need to change it up. They go buy a motorcycle or a sports car or whatever, and it's like, that doesn't change nothing. You're still not progressing. All you did was spend more money. Now you have more debt. Now you absolutely have to stay at your job because you have to pay for the debt that you just racked up because you had this midlife crisis because you're not progressing in your life. This is progression. That's why people come every Tuesday. That's why they love coming every Tuesday. Even those who are like, oh, I'm so busy, I'm this and I'm that. No, you're not. There are all these people who find the time to make it on Tuesday because they made it a priority, because there are all kinds of drugs in their brains that's being let off, like the dopamine hit that they get when they are progressing in life, when they come to Tuesday meetings and they raise their financial intelligence. So all of a sudden, this thing that they have to do becomes this thing that they want to do, and they're excited to go to it because they're gonna improve their life without buying the sports car or the motorcycle or whatever. That thing is temporary. Everything that you ever bought only brought you temporary fulfillment, temporary, and emphasis on the temporary. You know, you bought the thing, you were so excited. You know what's funny? You were more excited shopping for the thing, right? You had a longer span of excitement and happiness and joy shopping for the thing when you add it all up compared to once you actually got it, right? Shopping for the car, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get this car, this model, with this package, and this color, and this, and this, and this, and that's the exciting part. Then you actually get the car, and you're like, yeah, I got the car. Then before you know it, all it is a mode of transportation from point A to point B, and all it is debt now. That's all it is. Excitement all gone, and you know it's true because you've already been down that road. If you're in your 30s or 40s or whatever, late 20s, you've already experienced it. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. But see this journey here of acquiring more assets and learning and raising your financial intelligence, it shouldn't stop. It should not stop. This is where your life can continue to grow, because when you're green, you're growing. And when you're ripe, you're rotting. You don't want this to stop. You want to continue to grow each and every day. You don't want to be ripe. You don't want to be the biggest fish in the pond. You want to continually swim from pond to pond to pond through different streams, through different creeks, right? Pond to pond to pond. So you might be the biggest fish in this pond, but then you go to another pond and you might be the middle-sized fish or the small fish or whatever. But you want to go and continue to just swim and have a journey in life, because that is where life is exciting. People die just sitting there in their cubicles, just being okay and like, oh, I'm comfortable. This is why depression's high. This is so much more than real estate, okay? This is your mental health. This is your life. This is your legacy. This is the example that you're setting for your kids, because if you're just like, oh, I'm okay, sit in the cubicle, oh, son, daughter, you can be whatever you want to be in this life. Well, what about you, Dad? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm okay. I don't know. But no, you get to be whatever you want to be. Me, don't worry about me. Do as I say, not as I do. Don't be that. Be that example. Be the example that you want to show your kids. If you're telling them, oh yeah, you can be whatever you want, then you be whatever you want. Prove it. Prove it. Don't just tell them that. Show them. But see, you're scared. You're scared. It's okay to be scared. Right? It's okay to be scared. I was scared. I'm still scared. I'm scared every time I speak in front of the public. But I speak in front of people every single week, but I'm scared every single time. But it's not about whether you're scared or not. It's about having courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear. It's taking action in the face of fear. Right? You got to have courage in this life. By having courage, you all of a sudden get to change the game. You all of a sudden get to live this amazing life, because results come from action. It requires action to get results. It doesn't matter if you feel like it. You just take the action, you get the results. You could be scared, but as long as you take the action, you get the result. It's cool. It's amazing. That's how it works, right? You can take action while scared, and you'll still get the result. Let's say my objective, my goal, was to make the water splash in a pool in a big way, okay? So how would you do that? Oh, maybe you can do a cannonball, right? And I'm standing on a diving board, and I'm looking down at the water, and I am scared because the diving board is 30 feet off from the water surface, right? 30 feet off, I'm standing at the diving board, and I'm like, okay, here I go, right? And I'm scared. But my objective is to make the water splash. And I think to myself, if I do a cannonball into the water, I can make the water splash. But I'm scared. But I jump anyway. I take the action, I jump anyway. And then I jump. I grab my knees, right? I grab my knees. And I'm falling 30 feet. Hit the water, guess what? The water is gonna splash. I hit my goal. Objective complete. The whole time I was scared. Do you see how when I changed the metaphor a little bit, right? How you can be scared. It's okay to be scared. But you can still get the result. You may not feel like doing it. You take the action, you get the result. Here, you're scared. You're scared to invest in real estate because you're afraid of what you might lose. But what about what you might gain? What you can gain the asset to pay for your liabilities. That's the better debt snowball, so that you're not the snowball, right? You might be scared. Then get smarter. So that means you have to learn, because there's 4 steps. There's 4 steps. Knowledge, confidence, action, results. Say it again. Knowledge, confidence, action, results. If you have the proper knowledge, thorough knowledge, steps A through Z. You have all the steps, all the knowledge of what to do, exactly how to do it, how to acquire assets, using good debt, using OPM, other people's money, right? Learning how to analyze the deal, learning how to execute on the deal, learning how to cash out of the deal, right? You learn that A to Z, you all of a sudden feel really confident. You're going to feel less scared. Okay? You're going to have courage, confidence, less fear. You still may be a little scared, but you have so much confidence that it tips the scale, right? If you were so scared on the diving board to the point where you truly thought that you were going to die if you hit the water, you wouldn't jump. But at some point, right, there's a seesaw in your brain, and it says, look, I know I'm scared, but if I just jump and hit the water like all the other kids did, I know I'm not going to die. I'm just kind of scared. I'm just kind of nervous. I might be embarrassed, all that kind of stuff. At some point, your brain goes, you know, I'm scared, but it's not so bad. Let's go. And it goes. After you get your knowledge, your confidence, your courage will be high. And it will weigh more, right? It will weigh more than the fear, right? You're going to have that seesaw. And eventually, that confidence and courage and the knowledge that created that confidence and courage, that knowledge, confidence, courage will weigh more to the point where you will take action, get results. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be super scared. Super, super, super scared. And I don't blame you. But if you tack on that knowledge, that courage, that confidence, all of a sudden, that little seesaw in your head tips towards the side it needs to tip on to the point where you will take the right action. Don't be the people, though, who fake themselves out. They, for whatever reason, feel like they already know what they're doing from nothing. Like they were never taught. They feel like they know what they're doing. They feel like they have the knowledge. So then they have this false sense of security, this false confidence, right? They have this courage for no good reason. That's just called stupidity. And then they take action anyway. Then they take action and they take the wrong actions, which then equals the wrong result. You don't want that either, right? You want to follow the steps. If you deviate from the steps, then that's your fault. You're going to be very upset with the results you get. Knowledge, confidence, action, results. Those are the 4 steps. You got to follow it in that order, right? So we went through a lot. Let me recap real quick. The better debt snowball. You learn how to acquire assets using good debt so that the money doesn't come out of your pocket. Because you don't have the money. If you had the money, you probably wouldn't have all of this bad debt over here. So I have to teach you how to get good debt. So you have to use debt to pay off your debt, as counterintuitive as that may seem. So you're going to learn about how to get good debt to acquire assets to pay off your bad debt so that the paycheck money that you get can go into your bank account and it can go into savings. So that this way you have a reserve to the point where that reserve may be large enough to pay for your life for the next 10 years if you needed it to. That, I feel like, is a super safe plan. Not like the plan that most people think, which is, I'm just going to work at my job and I'm going to pay my debt minimum and everything's going to remain the same for the next 30 years. That is super risky. One hiccup in life will wreck that whole plan that you had, right? So this is the plan of acquiring assets to pay off your student loans, your car note, your credit card bills. Acquire the assets. That's the better debt snowball. And this whole thing, learning how to go from this little property to bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. This is for mental health because that is progression in your life. And that progression will keep you from having a midlife crisis. Midlife crisis comes when your days are the same, day in and day out, and day in and day out. And that sucks. That sucks. And then buying that sports car, buying that motorcycle won't improve your life. Because as we learned, it was more exciting to research the car, pick out the color, pick out the option package and the model and the trim and custom order it and fly to Japan or Germany or whatever and pick it up and all that kind of stuff. All of that, the story behind it, that was so much more exciting. And if you added it all up, all of the excitement over here, that was so much more exciting than once you actually got the car. Because once you start driving it a little bit, it becomes normal. That's the thing about humans. No matter what happens in our life, it becomes normal over time. You get a raise. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I got so much money. I got this raise. Oh, life is good. Let's do it. That becomes the normal after a while. So then what do you look for? You look for the next pop. So that sports car is only exciting when you're shopping for it. Once you buy it and you drive it around, that becomes the norm, but then you have more debt. So that's what's terrible about it. Sean, he says, Hone is a mastermind. Follow his teachings, and I'll be there tomorrow. Fantastic, Sean. See you tomorrow, right? So learning this, going through that journey, going through that adventure, that is what's going to keep you sane and happy, because you're going to keep progressing in life. Because if you're green, you're growing. When you feel like you've learned it all and know it all, that's when you're ripe, and then you're going to begin rotting, right? That's where your life takes a downward spiral. You don't want to have that happen to your life. So continue to get around people. Continue to learn. Learn about acquiring assets. It's not about the asset. It's about your journey in this world. It's about increasing your financial intelligence so that no matter what happens to you financially, you're safe, you're sound, your family's good, everybody's good, right? They say money can't buy you happiness, but it buys everything else. And people who are rich and poor, yes, there are people who are happy, but people who lack the money to, say, go to the dentist because they have a toothache, I mean, that's miserable. I much rather have money and be sad than to be sad with no money. Stephen Lloyd, hi. So Steve Lloyd, he's been a real estate investor for 15 years, and his journey has been a heck of a journey, right? So Steve Lloyd, he started off, he worked his ass off at like a pizza shop, and he drove, did you drive trucks and do all kinds of crazy stuff, right? He worked so many hours like a madman. But his journey and his rise to stardom didn't actually happen until he went to a meeting that Dave Van Horn invited him to learn about investing in real estate. And now Steve does all kinds of deals, massive level deals. And he's continuing to work on different projects. Now he has properties in Florida, and he's creating this whole big Siesta Key project. And that's a new venture for him. It's this whole short-term rental, Airbnb, VRBO. Like, it's this whole new venture for him. It's a journey, it's an adventure. He's learning a lot. He's excited about it. And he's making all kinds of money in the meantime, right? So he's nowhere near ripe because he's still learning. And he's someone who a lot of big-time real estate investors look at and admire. So if someone at his level is still learning, then what makes you think that you're done? That's when you start to deteriorate. When you're done, you deteriorate. Don't do that to yourself. But that's your choice. That's why you should come out to as many meetings as you can. And if you got to pay for seminars, then so be it. Pay for it. What else are you going to do with your money? Buy a sports car that's going to be happiness for 1 second, and then that's it? You're not going to think about it ever again? I have friends who buy motorcycles. Buy the motorcycle. Oh, it's so much fun. So much fun. They ride it on Saturday. And then they put a cover on it, and they don't touch the motorcycle for 2-3 years later. See? It's crazy. They had so much more fun shopping for it. Oh my God, I'm going to get this one in this color. And then I'm going to buy these aftermarket parts for it. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then they do it all. And the thing is beautiful. Wow, perfect. And they ride it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, whatever, they put it to the side, no longer happy. But your brain, you can customize that forever. You can advance that forever. You can put all kinds of aftermarket parts in it forever, right? That is ultimate happiness right there. It's this constant journey, adventure. It's exciting. This is your movie, right? This is your movie. But is it going to be a good one? Well, it depends. What are you putting in it, right? Oh, my movie. I was born. Okay, born. Okay, went to school. Okay, got it. Went to work. Okay, got it. Died. That movie sucked. I want my money back. That was a terrible movie, right? That's just hurts my head just thinking about it. Don't it hurt your head just thinking about that? Imagine you went to go watch that movie. Not very exciting, right? People drink and smoke and do all kinds of other things to get their mind off of reality because reality sucks, right? Reality sucks for them. It's only sucking because you're not writing a good movie. You are not the director of your life. You're just so passive. You're so passive in your life that it's a sucky ass movie. So instead of having this terrible movie, make it a better movie, one that you'd be excited for, where you don't have to numb yourself with external things to enjoy, like drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. You don't need all that stuff to be exciting, right? I don't smoke. I actually gave up drinking. I don't have to do any of that kind of stuff, and I'm still very excited for life. It's great, actually. So you guys get to have that, but you have to be proactive. You have to be proactive. You got to stop being so negative about everything too. That's the other thing that takes people down a downward negative spiral forever. And I can't even mess with their negative energy, right? It just brings me down. It's just so heavy. It's like, why does anybody want to be your friend? It's terrible. I wouldn't want to be your friend. So write a better movie. This whole debt snowball thing definitely took a left turn and then a right turn, and that's how your life should be. Right? That's how your life should be. You should improve your life and constantly look for ways to improve your life. Be the big fish in a small pond, but then go into the stream that connects you to the next pond and see what that pond's all about. And you might not be the big fish anymore, and that's all great, right? Nicholas, right? Yeah. So that's your story. Make it a good one. Make this a good movie. Make it so that when you're telling your kids and your grandkids about all, like how great your life is, it's actually exciting. Oh, I was born, went to school, went to work, died. Terrible. Make it a rich life. And when you tell your kids that they can be whatever they want to be the proof of that. Show them all the great things that you're doing in this life. Give them that example, that actual visual example. Oh my gosh, I can be anything I want. Look, that's my dad. He's doing all those great things. I can be that too. He's the proof. I know what he says, but he's also showing me. That's exciting. That's an exciting story. Because then your kids can grow up and then they can tell their siblings, right? Your siblings, all the kids can talk to one another. And they can say, like, you remember when Dad used to do this? And remember when Dad used to do that? And remember that great thing that Dad did? And that charity that he created? And that family that he helped? And all of that kind of stuff? Like, you could be that person, that parent, that dad, that mom. You could be that person that your kids look up to and be like, wow, they did all kinds of amazing things. That's a fantastic story. People say that money is evil, or the rich are evil, or this or that. Who do you think donates the most money? The people with the money. Be that person. Create all kinds of money. Buy all kinds of assets. And when you have your level 1, where your bills are paid and everything's settled, right? That's level 1 of existence. You get to move on to level 2 and level 3 and all the way to level 5 or whatever. And you can give back to people, and you can live this full life, this fulfilling life, where you have such an impact on people, right? But none of that happens if you don't choose to get out of your comfort zone, if you don't find the courage to take action in the face of fear. It's so important that you have that distinction. that even if you're scared, you can still take action. It has nothing to do with whether the fear exists. It has everything to do whether you have courage. So by having courage, by taking new actions, by taking big actions, by being proactive in your life, dictating the story, having a narrative, having a goal, doing something about it, that changes everything. Man, how did I come up with all of this? I just spoke and spoke and spoke and spoke. And some of it, I think it landed, and some of it, I don't know if it landed, and you guys aren't really writing back, and I'm just kind of talking to myself. It's kind of like talking to a mirror, because all I can see is me in this mirror. And I'm seeing you guys are popping on, and it's great. I'm glad you guys are all watching. I hope this is impactful. I'm hoping that you guys are getting some value out of this. I have no idea though, because nobody's saying anything. I see all the people that are watching, and I'm glad that you guys are watching. I hope you guys are getting something from it. And if you are getting something from it, let me know. Let me know, because right now, for the last, 20 minutes, I've just been talking to myself. Michael DeLuca, this was great, home. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that, right? I know some people are watching. I can see the little eyeball telling me how many people are watching, but I don't know who's watching. So absorbing the info, man. Fantastic. Michael, what is it that you got out of this conversation? Loosely used word right there. But this conversation, what have you absorbed? What do you think was the most impactful thing? Or what are a couple of the things that impacted you? Sean, you really hit it home with this message. Well, thank you, Sean. And same for you, Sean. What is it that stood out for you? What are you absorbing from this message? What is going to change for you? Michael says that I need to take action. Yeah, absolutely, right? But you want to take that right action, Michael. Knowledge, confidence, action, results. You can take action, but just, maybe take action towards getting knowledge. Maybe come out to the meeting on Tuesday. If you can't make the meeting on Tuesday, just reach out to me through Facebook Messenger and let's talk. It's fine, we can figure that out. K-CAR. Tell me what K-CAR, K-CAR. Knowledge, confidence, action, results, K-CAR, yeah. So maybe the action is towards achieving more knowledge first, because you don't want to be that person who takes action based off of false confidence, based off of misinformation and misknowledge, right? You don't want to be that person, because you take the wrong action, you will get the wrong result. You will get a result, but it's not going to be what you want. It's not what you're not going to like it. Your journey can either be fun or treacherous. It can be an adventure and it's going to be like exciting, or it can be super stressful. So, you have to make sure that it leans more towards the fun side, not the why did I do this? This was such a mistake. So, two paths. But even if you have that treacherous, you will survive, because think about the worst day in your life. Actually, don't think about it, but just like have an idea that you've had the worst day in your life already, and you've gotten through it. So here you are, worst day of your life in the past, and you're here. So anyway, I am parched. I've been speaking to you guys all night, just made it all up. See all this? I made this up. I didn't draw this beforehand. I mean, I wrote those words beforehand, but I drew these buildings and stuff here. You want to know this stuff. It's got to come from in here, in the heart, in the gut, and everything. Blah, right? So know it so that you can deliver it. Chris says, you are a great speaker. Definitely hits home. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the nice words. Sean says, buying assets that take care of my liability. Fantastic. If more adults understood that little concept, acquire assets to pay for your liabilities. Less suffering. Oh my gosh, that's so genius. It's right, it's so simple. Acquire assets that pay for liabilities. Everybody else is taught to work your butt off and pay for your liabilities yourself, because then you become the asset. You don't want to do that. You know, life has so many opportunities. Why don't people take advantage of these opportunities? Why does it require some kid who grew up in the hood going to public school? That's me. Why did it require some kid grew up in the public school system and all of that, grew up in the hood, to come out here and figure out how to do this and then teach you, right? You see how I'm not very special? I was just determined. So it just goes to show you, it doesn't matter really where you came from. It just matters where you put your mind and your heart and your energy into. You can create all kinds of stuff, right? Let's see. So Lou Vega says, loan me some, he meant, loan me some money. Oh, loan me money so I can buy assets. Hope you say yes. Well, Lou, I am working on your loan as we speak. I worked on it today. You will be getting your money. And so you can acquire more assets. You're welcome, right? It's cool. Lou's in the group. Me and Lou, we've known each other for 10 years. And he's a part of the real estate school now. And he has a couple of assets, right? He has these properties. And he's going to get more and more and more. And he's going to go on this journey. And he's going to constantly learn. Lou, he's so great at this that he teaches the classes as well. He just joined us like a year and a half ago or whatever it was. And now he's already teaching because he knows this stuff. He wasn't born doing real estate. He actually had no interest. It took me a while of like, come on, Lou. Come on, like, come on. Come on, Lou. You got this. And then he finally said yes, and he joined. And now here he is. And now he's teaching the classes. How crazy, right? He's leading our introduction meetings. It's amazing. It's amazing what you can do when you are focused on learning the right stuff, taking action, coming out, getting this knowledge, acquiring assets that pay for your liabilities. It's amazing, right? Lou says this is all true, committed every single day, right? Lou and I, we speak almost on a daily basis, and we talk about assets, we talk about building businesses, we talk about different strategies, we talk about networking and meeting new people and making more money and being more excited about life and going on a better journey day in and day out. And it's really cool, right? It's really cool. Lou just bought himself a Tesla, and we were going over the numbers, and he was showing me how by buying a Tesla, it was a smart financial decision for a number of different reasons. So some people would just look at a Tesla as like a liability, but he, through knowledge and analysis, he was able to demonstrate why buying the Tesla actually made a lot of sense. And I was like, wow, that's cool. Financial intelligence right there at work, right? So he was able to get what he wanted, and it made financial sense. A lot of people would just be like, oh, that's a waste, don't do that. It's what he wanted, so he got it, and it made sense. So it's fantastic. Very happy for him, right? And that goes for everybody watching this. You guys, life is so abundant, and you have to have that mindset, and you have to believe it. And if you don't believe it, you can leverage my belief until you believe it yourself. They say fake it till you make it. I'm twisting it a little bit, and I'm saying leverage my belief, right? Leverage how I feel, leverage my motivation, leverage my enthusiasm, leverage my knowledge until it becomes yours. They say leverage is the key, right? Leverage. Good debt is also called leverage. That is how you buy these properties with none of your money. So you're leveraging other people's money. Leverage my emotions until they become yours, right? Leverage that. Leverage that. You can create it. All right, well, here we go. Tuesday, tomorrow. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. I look forward to meeting all of you, talking to all of you guys. Let's see. Sean said, Lou, when I buy my dream home, I'll need that hookup with your smart home company. Yeah, Lou Vega has a smart home company. So if you guys want to do any cool things with your home, Lou is infamous for when we come over to watch the game or just like eat some pizza or whatever. He talks to his watch. He's got an Apple Watch. And he says, hey Siri, it's game time. and then all the lights dim and they turn green for the eagles, right? So it's cool technology right there. Yoursuperhome.com. Okay, Michael says, thanks for taking over an hour of your night for this. I'll be in touch. Yeah, it was over an hour, right? People were always asking for free stuff. Great, I have it. Here it is. Chris, where is the meeting? It is in the Northeast. It is near Adams Avenue and Roosevelt Boulevard. If you are familiar with the Northeast part of Philadelphia, I can put the link in there, or if, yeah, I'll put the link in there. Let's see. Can I do it while I'm talking to you guys? Oh, look at that. I can. Technology. Hello. Let me do this real quick. Boom. You can register on the link. You will get an email of where the meeting is and updates and everything else. So register there. I'll throw you on the calendar. And anybody else watching this, feel free, register there. Come to the meeting. Come start a new journey. 2020. What do you got to lose? You already know what your life is like. You've had your same life from 2019 on back. You know what that's all about. So, hey, you might actually like it, right? You might actually like it. You might enjoy this journey, because I would be nuts to be going to this meeting on Tuesdays, every single Tuesday, and absolutely hate it, because I'm not getting paid to go to these meetings. Actually, I pay to go to these meetings every single Tuesday. I'd be nuts if I kept going to these meetings and I didn't get any value. I hated it. This was on my free time and I'm paying for it. I'd be nuts for going there for the last 3.5 years. There must be something to it. What could that be? Progress equals happiness. Green and you're growing. That's what I get. I continually better myself, and it's amazing, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm meeting a whole new sphere of influence. I have all new friends that are on different wavelengths, but they're all on elevating wavelengths. My radar for opportunities grows. My awareness of abundance grows. I'm at a loss for words for all of the things that I feel for going to these meetings every single week. It's just like, to simplify it, it's just life gets better because there's something to look forward to. That's life. First, you get excited to graduate school. Then you graduate. Oh, woo, so exciting. And then it becomes normal. And you're excited to get a job. Then you get your job. Woo! Normal. Oh, I have enough money for the down payment for my house. I buy a house. Woo! Normal. It's just a place to live. Oh, I met this cute girl, and we're going to go on a date. Woo! Normal, long-term relationship. I'm going to get engaged. Woo! We're just engaged. We're dating. We're going to get married. We're going to have a crazy wedding. It's a one-day event. Boop. Normal. Okay. Time to have a kid. So excited. Painted my ass. Now I get no sleep. Like, that's your life, right? And you have these like little, like these big spurts, and then it goes normal for a long time, many years. Big spurt, normal for many years. But if you have this thing every single Tuesday that gives you a big spurt, I mean, then it's like pop, 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 pop. Super exciting. A lot of growth, a lot of fun. I mean, that's what it's all about. All right, I spoke for a long time. I'm gonna go this time. I want you guys to come to the meeting tomorrow if you can make it. And if you can't make it to the meetings, if you're nowhere close to the meetings, if any of that, fine. Message me on Facebook. We'll figure out plan B for you. Either way, be excited for life. Take action. Be courageous. Take action in the face of fear. Because that is how you're going to open new doors in your life. All right, guys. That's it. I am done. I am spent, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will download this and then upload this onto YouTube so that you guys can share this link with other people that you feel like could use this message. And I hope to see you soon. All right. See you guys.